Hey guys, how is everyone? So I guess right about now, um, you probably noticed that I have actually updated my my intro a little bit, um, and also the logo. Hey Edstar. So let's go back to the top and say hello to everyone. So it looks like Eric's here. Looks like Fisher's in the house. Bobby K. The good old Stream Element Streambot. Who else we got here? Now we got Blake Howden and Edster. Thanks there, Edster. Yeah, Edster. Um, hey Craig. Yeah, I'd played around through the week and tried to get the logo intro a little bit better. Looking at this on the wrong screen. Hey, go blurry. Yep. Oh, back up, back up. No, still out. Hey Nathan. Still out just. What? That's like it was in focus like 2 minutes ago. There we go. That's better. uh, there's always something on this channel. If it's not me going live early, it's something something that's like the camera or the mic or something wrong. There is always something. um, yeah, I don't know. I suppose I could call this maybe a comedy channel. How many times can you stuff up before you get a live stream right the first time? Um, no, so I hope everyone's had a decent week. I've actually had a pretty full on day. I started my new job today, and I suppose getting dropped straight into the deep end, not knowing where anything is, and taking on a full manager's role straight up. Um, kind of tested me out a little bit, but we got there. Um, the hours are a little bit different, so I haven't had as much time to do anything this afternoon. I got home about 6 o'clock, so by the um, time I had a chance to feed the animals and feed my fish and sort of even set the stream up and make sure that intro worked properly, like the countdown and everything. I had to fiddle with that and get the countdown right, and because of course when you go to put it on to Streamlabs, something went wrong and it decided to skip half the countdown. So I basically had to re-render the whole video to get the video to work properly. So that is a full 5 minute and 10-second video that has the whole countdown included in the video. So I was very hectic in not to push the button during the countdown. I didn't push any buttons because if you do accidentally turn the video off, it starts the countdown all over again, and I don't know how to cut it shorter. Hey Laz, good to see you in. I haven't seen you for a few weeks. But no, so yeah, it's doing the same sort of stuff there, Nate. But I've just gone from a worker's position to a manager's position, and I got thrown in the deep end big time. Tomorrow I have a major meeting with all the bosses and other maintenance staff throughout the state. So it's kind of I'm getting dropped in the deep end real quick, so it's hit the floor running basically. But no, I think I can handle it. So that's good news there. But we're not here to talk about my work. We're here to talk about fish. Well, I suppose we are anyway. I don't know what the rest of you people are here to talk about, but I guess that's what my channel's about. So I suppose I better start talking about it. So if, for those who watched the vlog there yesterday, you might have noticed I actually finally cleaned up the fish room. We actually have something that looks like a fish room instead of a storeroom, which is actually really good. Um, I got the my sort of stepson in, and he helped me. So we had a bit of bonding cleaning up. Yeah, no worries, lads. Thanks for dropping in. So we had a bit of fun cleaning up and getting everything organised, and he has fun out there feeding the fish and everything like that. So no worries there, Nate. I've done managing that before, but like I've managed the place that I work at now. The place I used to work at when the foreman and that went away. So it wasn't too bad, but I also knew what was going on. Here, I've been dropped into um, maintenance manager that hasn't had any maintenance staff there for 6 months. So it is they are 6 months behind, have had no paperwork done, have had nothing done, and it's just here's your office. There's all the crap that we've been piling up the last 6 months. Have fun, sort it out. Oh, by the way, we've got another 6 jobs for you to do today. type thing. Then the jobs just kept coming in basically. Um, so we've had a fun day. um, but in saying that, I suppose that's what I signed up for. I knew I was getting into it before I took on the job. But back to the fish room. So yes, we do have something that now looks like a fish room. Probably during this week sometime. Um, I can probably say it may even be not. It's definitely not tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to my first fish club meeting. They're finally allowed to actually have in-person meetings, so I'm definitely going to that. So it's the annual fish club meeting where they pick like the presidents and all that of the club, as well as they're having a bit of a fish auction at the end of it. So I'm definitely going there, taking my bucket and taking a bit of cash, and we'll probably come home with some more fish. So that will probably be the video this week. Good chance I'm going to come home with at least some plants. I know these guys do have a heap of cool plants and that. It is based in Canberra, about 2 hours away from me. So I finish work tomorrow. I drive to Canberra. I do the meeting. I come home. I unpack what we have. Maybe do a video on it because I am unpacking what I've got and I want to put it into tanks straight away. I do kind of have two half vacant tanks. If I really have to, I will fill up the 4 foot and put water back in that. I haven't at the moment, just because I don't want to drain it again. It's a pain in the ass, so I'm still draining with buckets. But if I have to fill it up tomorrow, I will. And I'll put the fish into a smaller tank overnight, then throw them into the bigger tank tomorrow morning. But I do have a 2 foot aquarium there that only has the 5 platies in it, which I can store something in overnight, depending on what I get. But anything to go on something on like the auctions um, that I've seen these guys do. They can be anywhere from the golden half beaks, which I really should have jumped on when they came up to auction last time. There was 5 of them for $10 each. I really should have grabbed them. And because it's in Canberra, they do have a lot more fish and a lot more stores. So there's a lot more variety, and now they can actually have auctions. I think there'll be a lot more come up than just the Zoom, because they were doing Zoom meetings and had a few um, things pop up on the auctions for the Zoom meetings, but I, I wasn't game to buy them because then I'd have to do a special trip to Canberra just to pick them up. So going down and actually being able to look at the fish in person and buy them would be a lot better. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a couple of 20-litre buckets with a battery aerator. So if I do buy something, I'll bring it home and make sure they get home safely. But in saying that, a few of these guys that are in the club actually own fish stores in Canberra, so their auctions can be just about anything, as well as they have door raffles and stuff like that. So who knows? I might come home with a fish tank or a filter or something. Who knows? I'll definitely come home with something because I've got to do a video this week. So we'll come home with something we don't want just because I have to buy something. I don't have to, but I will. It's just like going to the fish store. You don't go to the fish store and come home empty-handed. You go there for one guppy and you come home with an Oscar type thing. Like it happens. But yes. So that's what we'll be having tomorrow. But yes, so everything's just about getting to where I want. I'm going to be purchasing new tanks very, very soon. I'm looking at buying another 5 or 6, maybe 6 Kmart tanks. No, 5 Kmart tanks. That's 150. Buying 5 Kmart tanks and getting them shipped, and hopefully they all turn up like the last 2 did. That'd be great if they could. I might even buy 8 just to make it an even 10. I have the space to put them. Now I've got the racks done, so and the way everything's happening, I'm starting to get a lot of fry and stuff like that. And I need places to put them, and the Kmart tanks are the best for it. I also want to separate my killifish. Like I've even noticed the Bevelitania killie up in that tank sitting there on my bench. The little one. I've actually noticed them starting to pick at my dwarf rasboras, my cherry shrimp that I have in that tank, as well as they actually picked off 1 or 2 clown killies, which I'm not impressed about. So actually they picked off more than that. I think they picked off 5 or 6 of the clown killies, as well as 5 or 6 of the smaller rasboras. So I've definitely got to get them out of that tank and get them separated. As well as I also want to try and breed them, so I do want to separate them and try and spawning mop breed them. So I want to put them into a Kmart tank, then have a separate Kmart tank sitting there so I can move the spawning mop from one straight over to the other and just try and hatch them that way. I don't know. I've tried peeling the eggs off the spawning mops, and I can't breed the blue pancheck, so I don't know how I'm going to go off these other killies, but we'll see what happens. I am going to be talking to a bloke tomorrow that does breed a lot of killifish in Canberra, and he actually has a heap of different species, so going to talk to him and definitely find out how to breed them properly and stuff like that, and just try and get my fish all in species only tanks, just so they breed better. Hopefully, so that is the plan, to try and get all my fish into species only tanks so I can breed them, and then have a spare tank for those that I can raise fry in. So it's sort of, I buy 1 tank for the adults, 1 tank for the fry, and have them side by side. So I know what they are and label them all because a lot of killies look exactly the same. And I can never remember the names because they are too hard to pronounce, so I can't remember them. But yes, so that's definitely on the cards. Probably the biggest bonus about leaving one job and starting the other job is I had long service leave up with one job and I had to pay it all out. So it's basically like getting a second load of tax back. So I am able to do a lot of this stuff at the present moment because I do have a bit of spare cash. So I'm definitely going to be throwing that into the fish room, as well as I might even throw a fair bit into actually finishing off the fish room and trying getting the walls and that up, and maybe even installing a new aircon to heat the room and cool the room now we're coming into summertime, and try and keep it at a consistent temperature, and that'll also cut down on the power bills. Hey Blackie and hey Chevy, good to see you here. Pardon me. But yeah, so we do have a few things coming up. So I'll probably also get some 65 litre tanks just because they fit into into the racks a little bit easier than something a bit bigger. Well, Nath, if you want an excuse to get out of South Australia and up to New South Wales, I have the outside unit of this aircon. It needs to be moved because there's renovations going up directly where that is, and and yeah, the tank in the aircon in the fish room. So if you want an excuse to get out of South Australia, mind you, I'm not paying for your travel, but board for the week's free. So there's an excuse to get out of South Australia. I think you're allowed to still travel for work, aren't you? Well. No, but other than that, I don't really know what else is new. I haven't actually done much in the fish room in terms of moving fish and stuff like that this week. It's mainly been that's just an Aussie thing there, Craig. Oh, it's better than a few other words. Well, there's plenty of excuses to leave there, Fisher. It's just having the means to be able to do it. Oh, I think I can spare a few there, Nathan. Well, it is for the fish. You're going to be helping out the fish by heating their room for them, so they don't have to rely on little heaters. And actually, oh yes, getting on to last week's giveaway, for those winners, they will be sent out tomorrow. I pack them up tomorrow afternoon, and they go to the depot tomorrow night, ready to be put on a plane early in the morning. So early Wednesday morning. So not being fish, they should be fine. If they were fish, I wouldn't pack them until 5 o'clock Wednesday morning. But they'll be fine to go out because they're plants. So they should be fine to go out. go out. No worries there, Blackie. But yeah, they should be right to go. Be packed up and left at the depot overnight. So the Java fern plants themselves will just be wrapped in wet cloth and put into a Ziploc bag or two Ziploc bags and put into just a standard what is it, just a well, it's still through the through the shipping company, but it's just like the standard letter type deal. Um, and Bobby, yours will be going in a polystyrene box. So um, so that should be all good to go Wednesday morning when the plane comes in at 8 o'clock. They should be on their way, which means you guys should get them by the weekend. I really hope they all turn up by the weekend. They did. They did. They did guarantee that they'd be delivered by the weekend. So that, and I will be paying a little bit extra, so they do stick them in overnight bags. So you could see them. You could see them Thursday, or you could see them Friday mornings. But they should be there definitely by Friday. I hope. But in saying that, adding water to the bags, unless they're left out in direct sunlight, they should be fine. If they're not, take a good old video and that of them as you unpack them, and I'll gladly replace them. Even though I'm giving them to you, but I'll gladly replace them anyway. Yeah, the post is definitely a lot better. Even still, I'm just still going to use it. Toll, TNT or Toll. It's one of the two. It's either TNT or Toll. Um, I've used them before, and that's what basically all my live fish purchases um, come through. Even actually, one of my local fish stores, he does. Actually, he nearly should be starting up again. He'll start doing deliveries, but he still posts them, which is kind of crabby, even though he's only an hour away. But in saying that, it's it's probably worth it because he does have a lot of fish, and the shipping price costs less than traveling the hour and back. So it definitely works out better. um, and yeah, Blake, the Toll Depot is literally 2 doors down from my house, so it's really good when they see a live fish package turn up and it's got my name on it. They basically bring it straight over. They don't even wait. Like it doesn't matter what time of day it comes in; they'll bring it straight over. Um, whether it's whether the shipping's already gone out for the day or not. I'm lucky enough there that they know me, um, and they're happy to bring it straight over. Yeah. No, Blackie, I've been streaming on this cam for a while. Why is something going wrong? Is it? Maybe I don't know. I hope nothing's going on with it. I'll I'll just deal with looking at the delayed picture for a while and just see what the actual camera looks like. Um, but no, I'm streaming on the Canon M50. I've been doing that for the last couple of months now. I've been slowly tweaking it and trying to make it better. But I think tonight, for some reason, it's a little worse. I think that's just got something to do with the focus on it. But yeah, so hopefully it is working okay. Hang on, let's see if I can get this to come back. I hate it when it gets blurry. I think that's a little bit better, but okay. um, I I haven't heard of anyone there, Bobby K. I know Blake from Blake's Aquatics has been getting mystery boxes and fish deliveries right through COVID, and I don't think he's had any problems. So I think a lot of the aquarium shops down there actually started doing um, home deliveries too. Um, yeah, so that yeah, the home deliveries definitely help them guys down there. I'm too far away from my pet stores to ask them to do home deliveries. Although the amount of money I spend at one of them, I reckon he happily would, would gladly do home deliveries for me. um, the 20 litre Kmart tanks, they're going really well. I've actually got about 50 Carbensis fry in one, and I think close to the same Bolivian ram fry in another. And I was saying a little bit earlier that I am looking at buying another 5 to 8, 5 to 8 of them. Um, so I definitely do like them, and I'm definitely buying more. They're really good for the smaller fish and fry, for raising fry. So um, the cribs are nearly getting big enough to actually split their numbers in half or put them into a bigger tank. But I just want to split them in half just so they're still consolidated in a smaller body of water so they can find their food easier. I noticed that with my Bolivian rams. I left them in the tank with the parents, and they weren't growing very fast. Even though I was feeding them just as much, I don't think they were finding the food as well. Um, and then when I caught them and put them into the Kmart tank, they nearly doubled their size in a couple of days. So I think it's definitely that they weren't getting the food. They weren't finding the food. So that was definitely a little bit of a learning curve. So next time when they have babies, I'll let them. Next time I might let them raise the whole lot. Um, yeah, a Kmart tank will gladly raise. Will gladly keep it better. I would probably recommend swapping out their filter for uh, a small sponge filter though, and an air pump and a small sponge filter. The flow on the Kmart filters, I think could be a little bit much for a better, especially a long finned better. Might be right for a female, but definitely a long finned male. I think it'll push him around too much, and he'd get a little bit too exhausted. Um, you can definitely turn the filter down to drop the flow down as much as you can. But yeah, I reckon that'd still be too powerful for a better. If possible, go with the um, air pump. If not, you could probably try and hang something in front of the outflow of the pump and slow down the flow. Just try and break it up so it's not a constant flow push into one area. Otherwise, like I said, it might be a little bit too. Hang on the back in such a small space, it'd probably be the same thing. The flow would be a little bit too much. I think. To be honest, I would definitely recommend a sponge filter. You can get some really nice, small, quiet ones that run on USBs. You can even get silent air pumps that you don't even hear running. I think you can pick them up for $15 to $20. And just a small sponge filter. I think the whole thing you'd pick up for less than $30, I reckon. I haven't got anything that small with my pumps and that, mainly because of the amount that I have. But yeah, one of the smallest pumps you can buy would be fine for a 20-litre Kmart tank. But by all means, if you've got a second-hand filter already there, or like I said, just try tweaking the Kmart one, and as long as you can get the flow, you want a really gentle flow for a better, gentle to none, but then you want surface agitation and water movement to get your filtration. So the least amount of flow and that you can get in that tank, the better he'll be, or she will be. But yeah, so I'm not 100% sure. I don't live in Melbourne. I live in the middle of New South Wales. Yeah, you can't with the Kmart tanks, Bobby. With the Kmart filters, I don't have one down here, otherwise I'd show you. The outflow only goes one way, and you can't actually point it at a wall. But in saying that, the next cheapest I've seen for a kit, I think, was a small Aqua one, and I think it was close to $70. But that come with the air pump and the sponge filter, and I'm not sure if it come with a heater or not. I don't think it does. Or it could come with a small hang on the back. I'm not sure. I think it's like, I think Aqua One calls it My First Tank or something. It's something like the equivalent. It could even be smaller than the Kmart tank. It could even be an 18-litre. But yeah, I probably wouldn't go much smaller than. I definitely wouldn't go any smaller than a Kmart tank, which is a 5-gallon tank. So if you're looking at any videos on betters and stuff like that, and they say a 5-gallon being a minimum, that's it. That's a Kmart tank. Definitely go bigger for all means. Like I've got a male better up here in this 4-foot 180-litre tank, which needs a top up again. I'm just realising. I swear I top that thing up every 2 days. No, I don't think you can spin the top. Spinning the top just yeah, that could be the one I'm thinking about. Chevy, the Blue Planet ones. I know Aqua One and Blue Planet do one, and they're very similar. But yeah, the definitely the cheapest starter kits. The cheapest starter kits in Australia are definitely the Kmart. And for tank and lid, I'd pay $30 for without the filter. To be honest, I don't use the filter. But it reminds me, I do have to do a video of me turning that filter into a surface skimmer. That reminds me, I can probably do that this week or maybe next week. Oh no, thanks, thanks a lot. I'm happy to try and pass on what knowledge I have, and if I can help other fish keepers, I'll gladly do it. Half the time I get told I'm wrong, and I'm quite happy for that. If I don't know something, I'll try and find out the answer, and I'm quite happily getting told I'm wrong. um, if it betters my knowledge for the future, I'll definitely listen and learn. But yeah, I honestly wish we had the big box stores like Walmart and Petco and that, like in America, where they do the dollar for gallon sales and stuff like that. Which is what, $1 $1.50 a gallon, so $1.50 for 3 liters. About 3 liters. Or is it a little bit over 3 liters or something? I can never remember what a gallon is. But yeah, it's like $1.50 for like a 3 liter for 3 liters in tank space. So, yeah, a dollar for gallon sale in Australia would be absolutely amazing. I think you'd see fish tanks running around everywhere. If you want to get people into a hobby, that's the best way to do it. Just throw stuff at them like that. Exactly, Bobby. You gotta make mistakes to learn, and I've always. There you go, Chevy. So nearly 4 liters for $1.50 of tank space. So, um, yeah, when you look at it that way, if you were to buy a Kmart tank over in America, you'd be paying $5, $7.50, something like that. Um, to buy the same tank we pay for $30. um, as a bare tank. So when you look at it that way, then you look at when you look at the filter, I think in a Kmart tank is $12. I wish you could buy the tank without the filter, but I think the filter is $12 on its own. You could probably say the bag of pebbles. If you were to buy them separately, you'd probably pay $4 to $5. And that little plastic plant you could probably pick up for $1, $2. So when you add all that up, there's about sort of $15 to $16 towards $20 worth of accessories that you get with that tank. So I suppose you could say you're picking up a glass tank for quite easily, say $12. You're picking up. You're still picking up a tank. If it was only the tank, you're picking up the tank for $12, something like that. If you buy a Kmart tank, when you break it down, so it's still good value for a little glass box. But like I said, I am going to do a video to show you how to turn a Kmart filter into a surface skimmer. The biggest, it's actually there's two ways. I did see Blake on Blake's Quakes do a surface skimmer out of one, so I might even replicate that a little bit. But also there's another way you can do it. Um, I don't think Blake's got a video on it. I think it's on um his how to remove duckweed video. He shows it, but he doesn't explain what it is. um, yeah, but that's still okay. Like you pick up a sheet of perspex for stuff or even just go like, to be honest, if you're gonna go pick up 4 tanks or 5 tanks, or yeah, say even 2 tanks, go pick up a third tank and cut the sides off and cut them in half. Cut or 3 tanks, cut the sides and the bottom in half, and there's your glass lids. For stuff or like you can do a lot with tanks. Really, it's only glass. It's only glass and silicon, but unfortunately, the glass and silicon is worth more in Australia than it is to buy the damn tank. Then you got to understand pressures and stuff like that when you start gluing them back together, and where to put the ribs and how big the ribs have to be and how thick your glass needs to be for how much water you are holding and where the pressure points are on said glass and all that sort of stuff. So building tanks can get interesting and quite complicated when you want to start looking at big tanks. I only know that because I've been looking into doing my shipping container tank. I really want a meter long Maricor. They are. They definitely are. Fish tank. The whole fish hobby is expensive in Australia. The only thing. The whole fish hobby is expensive here in Australia. When you look at it compared to other parts of the world, you look at the little pea puffer. American, $5. So in Australian, that's $7 to $8. Say $9 for a pea puffer, or even $10 for a pea puffer. If you could go buy a pea puffer for $10 here in Australia, that would be absolutely amazing. But no, they're 20 times that price. Yeah, well, that's the funny thing. Like you're buying a brand, you're not buying the tank when you get that sort of stuff. Like, and I reckon when you're starting to get up around the 5 foot, 6 foot tank range, it's nearly better to get it custom. I think if you get it custom, you get it to what you want. Then, like if you're gonna go 6 foot long, I assume that you got. Oh well, they're on the import list, so you're allowed to import them. Um, that's a very good bargain there, Alan. um, and Chev, I did kind of read that thing, but yeah, doing a plywood tank when you start getting big scale tanks, like above a 6 foot, is definitely more affordable here in Australia, I reckon. And yeah, I'd definitely look into that. Yeah, that's true too, Craig. We definitely don't have buying power in Australia, but then I suppose. Well, I actually looked into it. At our end, importing into Australia is as easy as easy. At the other end is where all the work is. Over here, all we have to have is an ABN number and say we want to import a tank, import a fish. The hard part becomes when it gets to the other end and they have to sit in quarantine for um, 14 days at the fish place. Then they have to sit 14 days in quarantine at their quarantine centre. Then when they come over to Australia, they have to sit again for another 14 days, roughly, before they can be absolutely sure that they're not bringing any parasites or anything like that in. Um, so you have to organise for, while they're overseas, for them to be fed in quarantine and looked after in quarantine for for 14 days. Then when they come over here, um, you've got to quarantine them again. So you've got to have someone at the quarantine center looking after them again, um, or have a specifically built quarantine center for fish, um, so they can be all quarantined and tested and everything like that. I'll look into it. It's really easy going. Because me and HC Aqua was gonna go into it and go halves with whatever we could buy, whatever we could sell the pea puffers for. um, but yeah, yeah, we looked into it very very hard at the other person's. Yeah. I think if you look around, you can buy a lot of stuff. Like if you had the time and if you had the area where you could set up a glass cutter, and you had the time and patience to cut glass and um, build your own tanks. There's people getting rid of old windows left, right, and centre, especially old farms and that. They've always got old windows laying around, and it's all what 4 millimeter thick glass, so it's it's all decent glass to make fish tanks out of, especially the smaller tanks. Um, you've only got to silicon them and sticky tape them together, and you'll be fine. It's just like I said, a matter of getting the glass cutter in and actually cutting the windows down to make the tanks, making sure they're structurally sound, type thing. Oh, don't worry, someone. Rumble's tanks are absolutely amazing, and like I can't believe how much water and how much space he has jammed into that little shed. I think, what was it, the other day we worked out? Oh, it wasn't. It was a couple of months ago. I think I was talking to him on his live stream, and the his room is actually, I think, nearly smaller than my room, and he has that many tanks in it. Just the way he's laid it out and used his space. um, with the big long tanks and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think his room is actually smaller than my room. Which I walk into my room and I look at it and I go, wow, how can he put that much into this much space and still do what he does? Like, It's unbelievable. Well, Bobby, you have a YouTube account, and I'm sure you have a camera phone. What's stopping you? Yeah. Okay, Chevy. So my room is 6 meters by 3 meters, so it'd be the same size. And he's got what? Yeah, he's got 9 foot tanks in it and everything. Um, yeah, I have seen him put new tanks in. It's kind of scary. He's got fish and thousands of dollars worth of fish, and he's picking tanks up over the top of other tanks and swinging them around above his head. Um, I've definitely, I take my hat off to him big time. He has done amazing in that room. Um, and if anyone says you cannot run a fish room on air and air alone, there is the perfect proof that you can. Even his koi pond, as Chev just pointed out, a 20-foot koi pond is run on an air filter, an airlift bubble filter. I think it has its own pump for it, but it is run on air. And his ideas for the airlift gave me the idea for the filtration for my 6 foot. I know I went a little bit differently about doing it than he did. There is a reason for that. That tank is earmarked for the future to be completely planted. So the idea of my mats is the space between the mats will be planted. I'm going to paint the outsides and the back walls, like the outside 4 inches of each end, and the backs and the background all black. Um, so the the tank space will be, what is it, 5 foot 4, yeah, 5 foot 4 inches will be the actual swimming space for the fish, but overall it'll be 6 foot worth of water, so which is good because, pardon me, that 6 foot tank will fit between my 2 rows of tanks on the outside. At the moment, I've only got um, one row of racks of fish tanks, but that room can have a rack down each side, the same length as the one that's there. Actually, the one on the backside can be an extra meter and a half longer, so it can take another bay. I think the one I've got there has got 3 bays, 4 bays. Yeah, 4 bays, and I can fit one, two. No, it's 3 bays. The one I've got there is 3 bays. But the one on the other side will be 4 bay. Then I can fit one in the middle of the room, which can be 2 bays. But again, that can be 2 bays of 3 foot, of 3 rows high. So each bay being able to take 5 Kmart tanks, or 2 foot tanks, or I think it's 3 10-gallon tanks and 3 10 gallons and a Kmart and a 5 gallon. So it's kind of funny that is yeah, I just drew a complete blank, but yeah, my room is starting to come together. I did plan that room out for close to 40 20-gallon tanks. Um, so yeah, that room will be able to take close to 40 65 litre tanks, which is what, um, 18 gallons, 17 gallons, or something like that. I don't know. It's funny. Yeah, it's just shy. They're not quite 20 gallons, but they're a standard size here in Australia. The Blue Planet 65 litres. Um, I think if I buy in bulk, I can get them for $60 a tank. If I buy them in 10 tank lots, so $600 I can get 10 tanks. Hey Blake, good to see you turn up. Um, Actually, not a real great deal at the moment. We're actually starting to wind down a little bit. Just been talking about um, the fish room finally being clean, um, and a few other things. A heap of new tanks that I'm getting. Not getting yet, but getting in the future very soon. And I suppose plans for the near future. Going to a first ever fish club meeting and auction tomorrow night. Um, so that'll be exciting for me. So we'll probably do a video on. Do it tomorrow night when I get home, and I'll try and edit it quickly tomorrow night. So it might be another phone job edit. I'm sorry for the phone job edits I've been doing lately. I just haven't had enough time to film them on my camera properly and actually and I haven't had time lately, and I probably won't get enough time to do proper videos on the proper camera that I do for my live streams and that until at least until at least sort of the start of next month when I get everything back on track and work out my times and schedules again. You know, everything's changed. uh, don't talk like that, Blake. The pay's about as the pay's about as good as the news in your channel. um, Speaking of duckweed, I can't grow it. I have actually even gone out and brought duckweed off hobbyists around here that grow it in proponic proportions. I put it in my tanks and it dies. Someone please explain that to me. I can kill duckweed. I went and brought a bag full of duckweed for $5. Put a little bit in, or put a lot in a fair few of my tanks, and it died. How do you kill duckweed? Oh, I haven't abused you yet. You have the power to put him for a timeout. But anyway, guys, gonna call it quits there, I think. um, that could be it there, Alan. I think I am. I do have too much surface agitation. Um, I do like my surface of the water moving a bit. Um, yeah, well, that's it, Bobby. Most of my tanks grow plants very very well. But yeah, the duckweed dies. So I think I can only put it down to too much surface agitation. But even then, if with tanks that you see have plenty of surface agitation, the duckweed's still there. Um, but no, so um, but no, it's yeah, it's just one of those things. I was gonna get, I was trying to grow it for turtle food, but I've got to get the turtle first. Um, but no, thanks for everyone for dropping in and saying hello. Um, and always good and appreciative for everyone to drop in um, and have a chat. So thanks everyone for coming along, and I will catch you hopefully next week, either in the vlog or here on the live stream. And I'll definitely try and put another video out through the week. Either one, well, Chev will probably see it tomorrow night, but everyone will see it Wednesday afternoonish or Wednesday night. um, and will either be it'll either be one or two. It'll be either on the DIY surface skimmer, or it'll be on the what I pick up from the auction tomorrow. So thanks everyone for coming along, and we'll catch you next time.